Brian Thomas Jr. Rumors are mounting. Walker reaction, ETN reaction. We already did live streams on Walker, on ETN, on Mike Evans, but we'll talk more about those situations as we've digested more, simmered on it a bit. But BTJ rumors are mounting right now, building by the second. We've got New York Giants in the mix for BTJ. This team doesn't know what it's doing. I'm pretty much convinced they're hell-bent on maybe drafting Jeremiah Love. They wanted Walker, Breece Hall, ETN. They don't trust Cam Scatterbo. They brought in Matt Nagy, one of the worst offensive coordinators, or if he was a coach, offensive coordinator, doesn't matter, in the entire NFL. Harbaugh might have lost his way. I'm starting to think Harbaugh's not going to be a good head coach in New York. I'm starting to think that their priorities are not straight in New York. They're going after receivers, running backs, things they already have. They have so many other holes to fill. What in the hell's going on in New York? And BTJ is on their radar. And that will, in turn, have some sort of, race to BTJ sweepstakes going on, which might trigger the New England Patriots to step up, because where the hell have they been today? AJB, BTJ, one of those two, maybe traded by midnight, maybe not. It's going to be crazy. All it takes is one trading partner to hit accept. All it takes is one trading partner, as we saw with the Breece Hall no trade last year before the trade deadline. It just takes one team to not hit the button when it's really obvious to do so. Third round pick Breece Hall last year, no brainer, didn't happen. So we can't predict any of that. That's out of our control. But we're here to talk about Rico Dowdle's new home in Pittsburgh. More Mike Evans in San Fran, what's it mean? And a whole bunch more. Breaking it down right now like we always do. The Fantasy Football Show, Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern show begins right now. File on in.
Live from the FantasyFootballShow.com studios. It's the Fantasy Football Show. Live! Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern. Smitty is also live whenever news breaks.
Maybe we need to hit the BTJ video, even though he hasn't necessarily earned the celebratory, I guess you could say, vibe that ensues when you play this video. But maybe we should play it to kind of maybe spark some sort of BTJ trade talk. And AJB, I don't know which one is going to get traded first, but I do believe there feels like a near zero chance that we don't see one of those bad boys on a new roster here. Just like we could envision Walker and ETN in different uniforms, and that ended up playing out. BTJ should be in a new uniform walking into 2026, but or BTJ or AJ Brown, one of the two. I don't know that both will. I think that it's possible, but whichever wide receiver goes to this team that's going to overpay, the other ones might not battle it out and give up enough. The rumor here right now is that the Giants are now entering the chat, and the Jets are also entering the chat, using potentially a first-round pick. And the Jets, while we know that is a bad place to go, Garrett Wilson is. I don't understand what these teams are doing. They would build around Garrett Wilson, BTJ. Maybe Garrett Wilson gets dealt another year, but they're building right now. Receivers last a long time. This makes some sense. They could draw on a quarterback next offseason. Maybe they go after Ty Simpson somehow in this draft. But, it's something that I can understand why they're doing it, but we wouldn't like it. It would be horrible for BTJ's value. But it would send a few players to the moon. Not that they need to have BTJ depart, but our boy Washington, P. Wash, is going to the moon. We've got him on the Moon Man list.
Dropping loads in outer space.
M. Wash and P. Wash and Associates at your service.
Space Monsters.
So, and then also Travis Hunter would return to relevancy, even though he will eventually anyway. They're not going to disown the man on offense. Like, people are out of their minds that think he's no longer playing offense. It's crazy. Play more defense? Sure. Get more versed in defense, then come back to O? Sure. Get more work later? Yes. On both sides of the ball, this man will play, regardless of what your father's podcast told you that he still listens to. Giants are in play here for BTJ. Ridiculous. Get your priorities straight. You've got Neighbors. You've got Scatterbo. Why are you going after Walker, Breece Hall, ETN, Jeremiah Love? The Giants take Jeremiah Love. That's going to be a shot to the heart in fantasy football. They've got Scatterbo. What are you doing? Focus on the rest of your team. Focus on protecting your quarterback. And I'm starting to think the game has passed Harbaugh by, because Harbaugh got ousted out of Baltimore for a reason, if you remember correctly. And the owner of the Baltimore Ravens said if he won the playoff game, he'd have a job for one more week. That's it. He was gone. The game might have passed Harbaugh by. And if you need evidence of that, he hired Matt Nagy as his offensive coordinator. One of the dumbest decisions a head coach could make. You might as well hire Nathaniel Hackett while you're at it. Oh, wait, the Cardinals did that. Thank God LaFleur is calling plays in Arizona. Arizona's been making some moves, but dare I say, LaFleur, you've got a little bit of a judgment issue when you're looking at your staff, because if you think Nathaniel Hackett's helping you in any way, shape, or form, you'll want to think twice about that. Hopefully they don't even give him an iPad. Hopefully he doesn't have a parking spot. Maybe he takes a Waymo or an Uber to work. They don't even let him on the facility half the time, because I'll tell you right now, Nagy gets his meat hooks into anything. Nathaniel Hackett gets his meat hooks in anything, he'll destroy. They will destroy whatever they touch. And Harbaugh thinking Nagy, who's going to call plays in New York, am I right? I mean, what in the hell are we doing? And at least in Arizona, yeah, Hackett's not calling plays. That's fine. Like, I can accept that. You can work around that a little bit. But Matt Nagy, what are we doing? Harbaugh is a disaster right now. And now you're talking about doubling up at wide receiver, doubling up at running back. Why don't you just draft a quarterback while you're at it? You got Jackson Dart. You're gonna draft Love when you got Scatterbo. You're gonna trade for BTJ when you have Malik Neighbors. This Giants team is rattled because Harbaugh doesn't know what he's doing. The game might have passed him by. Hopefully I'm wrong. I'm not saying I'm out on all New York Giant players, but there's a reason to be panicked right now when we hear over and over and over that Cam Scatterbo might be replaced. What in the hell are we doing here? BTJ, hopefully New England steps up and takes care of this and zaps this potential idea. Hopefully another team steps up and tries to grab BTJ. You know what makes sense to me? You know what makes the most sense out of any situation possible? We're sitting here finagling over landing spots when the landing spot for BTJ is right in front of our face. It's sitting right in front of our face. Why not match up JD5 with BTJ? Has anybody ever thought of that? It just pisses me off that it's so obvious. We talk about it all the time. We talked about it last night. We talked about it today. It's sitting right in front of your face. This guy's clearly able to be had at the cost of a second or a third rounder. And the Washington Commanders are sitting on their hands. You know, and some people say things like, Smitty, what, you think you know more than the GM of the four? Yes, I do. I arrogantly do. If I didn't think that I knew more, why would I be of any use to any of you? Am I right all the time? Absolutely not. Am I wrong on being better knowledge and decision maker than this guy over here making decisions? I'm not always going to be right. Maybe I'm off base here, and I'm not saying I'm better than Adam Peters. I'm not saying I'm better than Howie. I'm not saying that, but I am not saying they're better. I'm saying I could take a team. You hand me a team, I either burn it to the ground or we're winning Super Bowls within a calendar year. That's what I'm telling you. That's the guarantee I give you. Yes, we could burn down the ship. It's possible. But how are we not surrendering a third, or even if it costs a second round pick, to get BTJ in a Washington Commander uniform to catch passes from his bro JD5, his absolute buddy? I mean, these guys would be two peas in a pod. These guys would be like, it would be like stepbrothers all over again. More room for activities, bunk beds, shove them together. Let JD5 and BTJ share a mother freaking bunk bed. It's so simple. Smitty, you know more? Oh my God, Smitty, this guy's a joke. Guys, gather around. Gather around behind me. Smitty, we think you're so stupid because, what, you think you know more than the GMs in NFL teams? Again, do I look stupid? Why would I be here? Why would I have a show if I didn't think that? Not saying I'm always right, but what in the hell are we doing here? This is easy, light work. Today, a lot of teams have done good. A lot of teams have stepped up. The KC Chiefs said, hey, Smitty, why are you yelling at me? We went ahead and did good work today. We went and got Kenny Walker, and they would be correct. Standing ovation for a team like the Kansas City Chiefs today. And then you've got a team like the Saints that say, Smitty, calm down, stop yelling at me. We went ahead and took care of business too. Did we not? You did as well. Travis Etienne, these two boys look so good in their new uniforms. Just crispy photos sitting there. You both passed. New Orleans and KC, you got some meatloaf today in my book.
I smell meatloaf. Hey, Ma, the meatloaf.
But where the hell is New England? Where the hell is Washington in terms of this BTJ or AJ Brown situation? Why are we not handing BTJ to JD5? How is this not the easiest slam dunk trade of the last 5 or 10 years for this Washington Commanders team? Whether he succeeds or not, let's say he fails, you give up. What is the cost? We're hearing third or second rounder. I give up a second rounder just to make sure nobody came in the 11th hour and offered a better third round pick. Here's my third round pick. Oh, I covet the third round so much. It's such a great pick. This guy went in the first. What are we doing? What are we doing? How come we're not racing to trade a second round pick for BTJ? What, are we going to make it conditional? Oh, I'll give you a second round condition. Give a freaking second round pick and make it done. It's wild to me. You're the KC Chiefs, do it too. 31 teams should be 32, really. I mean, to be honest with you, if I'm running this squad and I'm not getting a first rounder, I probably do keep BTJ. I'm just being honest. 31 teams, though, should be making an offer to get BTJ. You're the Bengals. You got T. Higgins and Joe Burrow. I don't care. Does it look like I care? Trade a second rounder for BTJ. Do it anyway. You're the Seattle Seahawks. You just won a Super Bowl and you let your MVP go, which is so ridiculous unless there's a plan. Unless they're going to be smoking a cigar after saying it was all part of our plan. And they say, Smitty, we went ahead and made a trade. And we got our boy, Devon Achane. And then we say to ourselves, wow, Seattle's playing 5D chess. Everybody's playing checkers. But if Seattle's not planning on doing something of that variety, guess what? Guess what Seattle's done in my mind?
You've just been... Your Bijan card has been revoked.
BTJ. It's AJ Brown too. Now, AJ Brown sounds like he's going to cost a first rounder. I'm not saying they get that, but that's what the price tag is. And that's why New England probably hasn't pulled the trigger. New England should do a trade. They should give up a first rounder. And where's New England been? New England's this close to winning a Super Bowl. And the reason they didn't win a Super Bowl is because they didn't let Drake May have any weapons to play with. AJ Brown solves that. BTJ solves that. Hopefully, New England gets on the horn and figures it out. If they don't, this is an epic failure of an offseason for New England.
You've just been Smitty disapproved.
Okay, let's see here. And if BTJ costs more, I'm not saying, we're saying what people are whispering out there. If BTJ costs a first rounder, I'd pay it in a heartbeat. I'd pay one first. I wouldn't pay multiple first rounders. That'd be ridiculous. But if for any reason BTJ was a first rounder, I'd pay it. But he's not going for a first round pick. It sounds like he's going for a second or a third round pick. Who knows what it's going to be? We don't know. That's the whole point. We don't know. If it's a second round pick, you pay it and you don't even think twice. You say, thank you, sir. This report here from Diana Rossini. I'll get to the Super Chats in 1 second. Thank you. I want to put your Super Chats right here so you guys know that I have it here. Actually, let me answer them real quick. How do you feel about with Jacoby Brissett as the Arizona Cardinal quarterback. It's what we've wanted. It's what we've been saying needs to happen. So 100% feel great about it. Coach says, tell him, Smitty. I appreciate you, my boy, dropping that. Anybody who drops a $200 hauler tonight is in the Wild Wild West draft, which drafts at the end of March, live on the show. We'll have multiple prizes, one being a pair of Gunners, like your boy wears. You'll be wearing a pair of Gunners. I don't know which model yet. I'll let you know. But we'll be doing that. And anybody does the same on Rumble as well. But anybody ever drops that $500 tip over on Rumble in the tip jar? Anybody does that special 500 surprise over on the Bitcoin Rumble wallet? You can use your own wallet too. But Rumble's got its own Rumble wallet, it's called. Anybody drops 500, we start the Rumble show. Instead of waiting till 10,000 subscribers, which we're at 6K on Rumble, by the way. We reached 6K on Rumble today. 6K! Today! We need to get to 10K to start the Rumble show, where it's one day a week, but we might try and get it to 5 days a week. But we started immediately. We're not waiting for 10K if someone does that 5. But anybody drops 200 days in the Wild Wild West draft, celebrate your name. Put you on any video you want. And we're doing it live. So appreciate you all. Rico Dowdle is a Pittsburgh Steeler. Now, we talked about this a couple times, a little bit last show, I believe, too. And it was rumored that he could go to Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh was looking. You know, Kenny Gainwell left. Rico Dowdle comes in. It feels very, very mix and match. I think Dowdle's got a lot of upside. He does. But this is a crowded room. I like him. He's appealing. I think that he's as appealing as Kenny Gainwell was if you were walking into this year and they had retained him and re-signed Kenny Gainwell. I think I'd feel the same way about Rico Dowdle. I might even like Rico a tiny bit more if I knew they were going to use him like a workhorse at times, or eventually would. But because we don't really know, he's learning this offense, and he's a dog, though. He's such a dog. I know that Jaylen Warren has earned his keep, and they'll get him some work, but he's also very injury prone. My prediction is that midseason monster potentially for Rico Dowdle. In fact, let's put him on the midseason monster board now, mainly because if injury strikes, he's going to be cooking. So we're going to put Dowdle on the midseason monster board. Let me see if I can grab Dowdle's graphic. We got Jalen Coker on there as well. I think I have a Coker graphic. So we didn't at the moment. I couldn't find it. At least we're trying to speed through it. So let me put the Coker graphic up if I even have it. Where's my damn Jalen Coker image? I did find it. Here it is. So Jalen Coker is a midseason monster. Rico Dowdle is a midseason monster. Manungai is a midseason monster. And of course, as you see, Jordan James is a midseason monster. These are the definition of midseason monsters. Guys that really don't have, they're not on everyone's radar to the degree I think they're going to bring the thunder, is if you catch my drift. So Rico Dowdle, very, very much a midseason monster because he walks into kind of a cloudy situation, but we'll see what's what. For anybody that didn't see, Michael Pittman Jr. traded to the Steelers as well for a late round pick swap, so that was really interesting. Mike Evans, if you didn't hear, traded to the let's see here. Let me get the other Mike Evans graphic up. That was an old one. This one right here, Mike Evans, not traded, signed with the San Francisco 49ers on a $60 million deal, which is crazy. And, I guess I would say this for Mike Evans, the new 49er. I would say this. I would say, the substation's ready. There's so many substation and power plant comments everywhere. The substation is ready for Mike Evans, and Mike Evans better be ready. This isn't the right graphic anymore. We got to get the new Mike Evans graphic up because he's no longer there. So, where's my Mike Evans graphic when I need it? Here's Mike Evans. Mike Evans, the power station's ready. This is probably the worst person in the league, aside from J.K. Dobbins, because of his age, that we want to set next to the substation power plant, next to the 49ers facility. This is a guy that is going to struggle to stay healthy no matter what. You're putting him on the most injury-prone team in the National Football League with a coach that runs his players ragged, that practice inside a power station practically, that is causing, we believe, some sort of massive string of injuries. And you can say, oh, it's been debunked. It has not been debunked at all. It hasn't even been investigated properly. Your boy's been saying for years that someone needs to investigate this situation in San Francisco. And all I got was pushback from people. Smitty, you can't. What are they going to look at, Smitty? What is there to investigate, Smitty? Exactly. When someone says, what would they even investigate? I say, yeah. No, but like, what are they looking for? That's the point. That's why you open up an investigation, because no one has the answers. And somebody digging around would find out. They'd say, well, okay, here's something weird. Okay, well, here's something weird. You're practicing inside a power plant. like the football goes over the fence and Christian McCaffrey has to climb the fence, go grab the football that's sitting by the just a power plant hum. Just humming there. Just shaking everyone's ligaments. This is where this guy's going to go. Doesn't feel like it's going to end well. Not to mention giving him $60 million. Obviously, there's going to be some outs there, but it just I am very excited about Mike Evans, but the man is an old man. And the likelihood of him staying healthy was already a tall order. It's just not the place I wanted to see him go. Jalen Naylor, a guy I think is really, really intriguing, signs with the Raiders to be essentially their watered-down wide receiver one, which is fine because their number one wide receiver is Brock Bowers. So Naylor doesn't need to play wide receiver one. This is kind of why we said Dobbs or Alec Pierce would be a glorified version of what we're talking about too. But Naylor is really, really an incredible playmaker. And I really liked him in best ball even before this news. Like, if I thought he was going back to Minnesota, I would have very much drafted him in the later rounds than I was in best ball. Now I love him. Underdog promo code Smitty.
Motion detected at the front door.
We'll be drafting potentially. I don't know if we'll have time tonight with the news and everything. We'll see. Code Smitty. Link in description. Link in description or code Smitty will match your first deposit 50% all the way up to $1,000. But Naylor was already a good, redraft best ball wide receiver to take. Now he's going to go up in value, but I don't think it'll overcorrect too much. I think it'll be just fine. Naylor is a really intriguing player. Addison helps his value a little bit. For those living under a rock, ETN obviously signed with the Saints, and it was a 4-year, $52 million deal. This guy went to the moon last year. He's going to be extraordinary this year. The Saints are an exciting offense, and probably the most exciting part about this landing spot for ETN is that he's kind of a situation-proof running back. He's a better pass catcher. Travis and I talked about this on last night's show when he asked the question, which one's a better pass catcher? And the answer was ETN. And so when you look at KC, who's not throwing the ball to their running back, although they can, they will, and Walker will catch passes, no doubt about it. But if you're asking, okay, which offense wants to throw more to the running back? The Saints. The Saints are going to be a little bit more apt to, hey, we're down, we need to throw, let's throw it to ETN. KC, they're going to run with Walker. They'll throw to him a little bit, but it's going to be a majority of his points coming with rushing touchdowns and just trying to pound the rock and make the defense, sit there and say, well, what do we do here? Do we crowd the box? Do we double Rice? We can't do that. We can't do any of this. We got to worry about all of these different parts of this KC Chief offense and arsenal. And this team, they're going to potentially be playing. I'm not saying they're going to play down and not surprise. They might surprise. I think they could really be a surprise team this year. But if they are surprising, but still in shootouts and coming back from a deficit in the third, fourth quarter, I just picture them being situational proof. Or at least ETN being situational proof in this type of environment. And I like Shuck. I love Olave. I just think it's a match made in heaven for ETN, assuming he stays healthy. And I think Walker, it's a match made in heaven as well. Walker and mother freaking KC is beautiful. It's a beautiful thing. Everything about these situations today that have actually, played out, like Walker and KC, it's glorious. Malik Willis in Miami is good for Achane. I like Malik Willis elsewhere for him, but I'm not really concerned about Malik Willis's value. And I still think he could do good in Miami as a super flex quarterback too. I think so. I think as a best ball mania third quarterback, if you want to draft 3 quarterbacks, you have 20 rounds and you draft a third quarterback. He's a fantastic third quarterback. So there is some redraft, and best ball appeal, but really the appeal lies in that Achane finally has some stability again. Probably a way better quarterback than Tua. Will he throw more than Tua? That's to be determined. Will he check down to Achane enough? That's to be determined. But I do have faith in him, and he's an incredible quarterback. And we talked about this on, if you go to my player pages on thefantasyfootballshow.com, I'll show you a screenshot of it right here. And it's unbelievable what some of this guy's metrics are. And people don't realize how good. Now, you could say it's small sample size, Smitty. Crazy to talk about these career advanced stats for a guy that hasn't even, started, a whole season. And you're sitting here running your mouth about this and running your mouth about that. On thefantasyfootballshow.com, you go to Malik Willis's player page and you get this data right here. Completion percentage, 85. Passing ADOT, 10.11. Rushing yards, 29th in the league. Okay. Actually, let's see. Where's the 19th? Where's the? Hold on. Did I screenshot the wrong thing? One sec. Let me go grab it. Where'd it go? Where are you, Malik? Yeah, the ADOT, I don't know why it's not showing where he finished on that, but yards per attempt, 12.1. The guy was in, that's correct data. The guy was in like the top 10 in several elite metrics. And yeah, I know it's a small sample, but he's such an exciting player. I love everything about him. All right, so there's that. Where were we at? There's so much news on the screen. I'm getting lost at where I need to go next. I have so much stuff piled onto the screen. Am I worried about Harvey? Paul, why would I be worried about Harvey? Harvey escaped like Armageddon as of this moment, at least. Harvey's a huge winner today. Huge winner. Tootin, a huge winner. Emeka Egbuka, a huge winner. RJ Harvey, a huge winner. These guys are all huge winners. Let me put them up on screen. For anybody confused about what happened today, let me tell you. Buka, huge winner from today. Huge winner. Let me put Walker down here for a second. I was about to go there, but we need to have this conversation real quickly. Bashal Tootin, huge winner today. Buka and Tootin to the moon today. And RJ Harvey cleaned up today because he didn't have to face an elite running back. So why would we be worried about Harvey? Harvey, Buka, and Tootin all escaped today with an absolute boost in value. Now, Harvey still has to endure, a slew of rookies, and there's not much more that can hurt him free agent-wise. J.K. Dobbins was the best gift possible. Just the best gift possible. You couldn't ask for anything better. And he said something about Devin Neal. Devin Neal, why would we talk about Devin Neal? Devin Neal. Talk about a game, not practice, bro. Devin Neal. The Raiders have agreed to a deal with former Packers linebacker Quay Walker. This is unbelievable. When you really think about what the Raiders are doing, Clint Kubiak has been cooking. Absolutely cooking already. Just a bunch of amazing moves. Let me put them all up here so you can see them. Just been cooking. Linderbaum, 3 years, $81 million. Quay Walker, 3 years, $40.5 million. Naylor, 3 years, $35 million. I mean, Malcolm, 1 year, $11 million. This is such a big step for the Raiders, and the defense is going to look pretty good right away out the gate. And this is probably the biggest news for the Raiders right here. Signing Linderbaum to a bomb of a deal, 3 years, $81 million. But Walker and Linderbaum, these are two huge pieces of both sides of this football. And I think the Raiders defense is going to be pretty damn good. And their offensive line, you're already starting. Smitty, what about your offensive line? Here's the biggest move you could have made. And you still got a lot of free agency. And you still got a whole NFL draft to go. And coaching up the offensive line that you end up keeping and cultivating. But the Raiders have been cooking. Just straight up cooking. Dean, 3 years, $36 million. Walker, Naylor. I like everything they're doing here. I'm really excited about the Raiders. Devin Neal. Why did are you concerned about Devin Neal? Who the hell is Devin Neal anymore? Why would I waste my time leaving Devin Neal in my brain at all? Because I can only fit so much in. Like, Devin Neal has no place in the table, inside the database that I have up in my head that literally doesn't have room for players like that. Why would I be talking about Devin Neal? Walker, what a move. What a move. I'm real excited about what the Raiders are doing. Kubiak has been cooking today. He's been a busy boy. Kubiak's been a very busy boy. God, there's so much to go over. Here's Linderbaum's deal. Put that over here. I talked about Pittman already getting traded to the Steelers. Steelers have been very, very busy. J.K. Dobbins, this is just glorious news for Harvey owners. Can we get him to train with the Niners by the plant just for a few weeks? All we need is a few weeks. We knew this is potentially capable of happening. Shaheed re-signing with the Seahawks. 3-year, $51 million deal is insane money. But, you know, he's valuable on special teams, but it's insane money. Cardinals have been making some pretty decent moves. Cardinals are signing former 49ers wide receiver Kendrick Bourne, 2-year, $12 million deal. It's not bad. I like him. I think that Brissett's going to be really sneaky right now. He's going to go back up in ADP a little bit now that we know that Willis isn't the starter in Arizona or something like that, or he's getting traded. Texans are signing former Eagles safety Reed Blankenship to a 3-year, $24.75 million deal. Texans defense gets stronger, but their offense is trash. Wan'Dale Robinson, we already talked about this. He's a Titan. Makes me think Jeremiah Love is on the radar for the Titans at that number 4 overall pick. We sure hope so. And then we did the ETN stuff. ETN to the moon. ETN here. Tyler Algier, if you missed this, Tyler Algier, ladies and gentlemen, is Arizona Cardinal, which is intriguing, but it's cloudy, right? It doesn't leave the Cardinals running back room situation in any sort of, I don't know, doesn't give it any clarity, if that's the way we want to describe it. And if anybody thinks that Tyler Algier can't be the number 1 running back in Arizona, he certainly can, but he also shouldn't be expected to be the sole ball carrier because they love James Conner. I know it's a new staff, but this organization's love James Conner, and if they didn't love him, they wouldn't have brought him back again. So James Conner gets brought back. Algier's there. Benson, this is probably going to be a committee, but I do like the value of Algier if you could end up not having to overpay. I think it's a solid value. We'll just have to see where he climbs. Alec Pierce stays with the Colts because they trade away Pittman instead. Alec Pierce agreed to a $114 million 4-year deal, making him the highest paid free agent receiver in NFL history. It's crazy. He got paid the bag, and there's a good chance he was leaving because he was not happy with his volume, but they said, we'll give you the money to prove that. And that, in his interview, he did say that if I end up getting paid what I'm projected to get paid, the team, no matter who it is that signs me, will guarantee me the targets because they're writing a check for that amount. So he kind of telegraphed what he wanted, and the Colts were listening and said, we'll give you that check to guarantee you what you were wanting. Gainwell signing with the Bucks, not a concern really here in my mind for Bucky, other than they're two very similar players, so I just cuffed them together, and I love having both of them together. That's fantastic. Here's a list of free agents that still have yet to. Some of these, I don't know if I have to check some of these off, but Dobbs, Goddard, we got let's see here, Keenan Allen, Chigakonkwo, Dobbs, Jennings. A lot of players still able to be grabbed, but boy, we cleaned up. Free agency got wiped out in one day. It's crazy. We knew today was going to be busy, but they left nothing for tomorrow. Essentially, we'll see. We'll see what happens, but Let's see, Evans, Dowdle, BTJ, Walker, ETN. We've covered pretty much everything. Super chat. Let me see what the super chat is from Dan. I think it's Dan. Dan, thank you for the super chat, young man. Standing ovation.
Mashed potatoes!
Dan to the moon says, what FAB for Malik? Superflex Dynasty 200 FAB for the whole year. It's so easy to drop the full load drop on somebody and then you get burned if they're not good. But I mean, you got to ask yourself the question, chat, what would you do in general? Blanket statement, $200 you got for the whole year. What do you drop for Malik Willis in Superflex? I would say that if you don't have a second quarterback, one could argue full load drop, but I don't know what your league does. Can you tell me, Dan, what usually people do in these situations? Do you ever have full load droppage in the offseason? Do you ever have full load droppage during the season? What is typically the highest bid you ever see for anything? Once you give me that baseline, then I can tell you whether you do 100, whether you do 50, whether you do 75, whether you do 150, whether you do 190, keep yourself $10 for free agents or something just to get those $1 bids or something. But if he ends up being a beast, a top 10 to 12 beast, it would be very much worth the $200 and guarantee that you got him. But you might not have to do that. The highest bid could be $65 and you drop 200 and look like a fool. But I also need to know, do people drop $200 very often? If the answer is no, then you're probably dropping an aggressive like $75, $80. But even then, I don't know that will get it done. I have no idea. You're going to have to kind of fill me in on that, Dan. Appreciate you. Dan says Dobbs or Reed. Dobbs. Algier, the lead back. Probably the lead back. I mean, but he's not guaranteed to fend off everybody because it could be a committee. But Algier probably is the lead back. Probably. I would guess. All right. Let me see if there are any Rumble rants over on the Rumble side of the fence. Rumble, appreciate you being in the building. You guys absolutely rock. Where are we at on Rumble? Let's see. We got Hag in the building. We got 10 to 20 people popping in and out. We got Horse. No, Horse, we're going to get rid of you because... Let's see here. Do that again, Horse, and you're gone. You don't come in and try and channel drop up in here. Husseini, appreciate you. Landman, appreciate you being in the building. Hag, appreciate you. I need some moderators in here. I think I need to make some moderators. I think Hag is a moderator, isn't he? Maybe Hag needs to be a moderator. All right, chat, dial into the phone line. Go follow me on Rumble. Rumble, follow me on YouTube. The links are in the description of the video.
Call into the show. Call into the show.
I might need to get some more mods over on Rumble. Follow me. Sub dropping into a channel and channel dropping. Laporta could be 1 to 3 tight end again with Petsing. He'll be good, but I don't know about 1 to 3, bro. What's up, Peanut Butter? What's going on? Phone lines are open. Dial in. We'll definitely be here for a few minutes more, but we're probably going to be back at some point tonight on another breaking news show. So we might potentially be in and out here. Make this like how long we've been live right now? We've been live for 40 minutes already. We're definitely going to go over the hour. So when I say we're going to be here a little while, I mean at least 20 more minutes. But because it's going to be such a long night potentially, and maybe tomorrow too, I'm just pacing as we've already done about 5 live stream hours today already. 5 or 6, I don't know what it's been. Jags delusional in thinking BTJ value is more than mom calling his name, when the reality is very different. BTJ to the Pats would be a good fit at that value. It would be a good fit BBQ in New England. It'd be even better fit in Washington with JD5, and I just hope one of the two crush. Sorry I talk too much. I can maybe, but I'm sporadic with my schedule. Okay, Hag, don't worry about it. We'll figure it out. I got other mods that are, I think, in the building in and out of on Rumble, but anybody who wants to be a mod on Rumble, let me know. Obviously, I'm not going to pick somebody I don't know who they are. Just so you know. Smitty, it's my first show. Can I be a mod? No. Thank you, BBQ, for the $5 hauler.
Mashed potatoes!
Mike Evans, man. I don't know what to think of him in the power plant. What do you guys think of Mike Evans in the power station? I'm just curious. I'm asking for a friend. BBQ, thank you, pal. Appreciate you. Let's hit Brucey real quick on the phone line. Bruce, you're live. Thank you, BBQ.
Hey, Smitty.
Hey, Bruce.
My question is this. What is it taking the Vikings so long to sign Kyler Murray?
It's also a great question. I don't know what I mean. The word on the street is Kyler Murray will be a Viking. Let me just see what the word is on it. But he's going to be released on March 11, Bruce. So he's not even actually able to sign right now, which is the problem.
Because I didn't know what the difference was between him and Tua. Tua signed already. I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah, March 11, Arizona Cardinals are set to officially release Kyler Murray on March 11, marking the end of his 7-season tenure with the team. So we're waiting on that. Let me add this call real quick. Hold on. Husseini, mute yourself real quick. I'll be right with you, pal. I got Brucey on the phone right now. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead, Bruce. I'm sorry.
Oh, I was just wondering that, and then I saw something, but it didn't come from you. It was like FanDuel or something like that. I may have got tricked. But they said the Cardinals are trying to get rid of Marvin Harrison Jr. too. Any truth to that?
No, they're not trying to get rid of him. They would be open to a call. You know, they'd be open to a call for sure. And yes, we haven't. Let me see here. We haven't put the Tua news up yet. Let me see if I can find where my graphic is on that. But you're correct to call that out because we don't have, let's see here. We don't have that graphic up. So here's the graphic here. Tua Tagovailoa has agreed to a 1-year deal with the Atlanta Falcons. I don't have the details on that. For some reason, my screenshot's missing. But we didn't cover that on this show, so it was good you brought that up. But this is a good signing. Kyler Murray to Minnesota seems inevitable, and then we're going to go ahead and see Atlanta have both Penix and Tua. So that's two really good options for both those teams. Or I shouldn't say 9 is a good option, but just having two options is great for both teams. Penix Jr. Tua, that makes me feel really, really good about the quarterback situation. And here's the thing. I'm going to do a video on this because I think I've created a little bit of fear in everybody about this Stefanski situation, because Stefanski is not the best head coach in the world. That's for sure. But Tommy Rees, I believe, is a pretty decent bet to be a great offensive coordinator. So I'm pretty sure that, you know, as soon as you put Tua and Penix Jr. in the mix here, and I like both of them, Stefanski can't really screw it up. Whatever quarterback's in there, I believe will do well, and if they don't, they'll replace him with the other. So we're kind of protected in that Stefanski doesn't call plays. Tommy Rees had some very good success with really little to nothing. He had Fannin, and he had Quinshon Judkins and injuries, and then Shador with not even taking practice reps with the starters and going out there and playing pretty good ball. I'm pretty excited about this situation now. Now that we have two quarterbacks that Stefanski can't screw up, meaning Stefanski had Dylan Gabriel, Shador, and that was a mess because we had to trust Stefanski. Here with Tua and Penix, I'm not worried about London getting the football. And I'm certainly not worried about Bijan having room to run. So this was a fantastic, you could say, antidote for the Stefanski head coaching hire. So BBQ with 20 gifted memberships right now.
I smell meatloaf. Hey, Ma, the meatloaf.
BBQ, appreciate you, my boy. BBQ. Also a $20 hauler by BBQ alert. As well.
Super chat alert.
Let him cook.
So BBQ's $20 hauler says more free agency action in one day than all of last year. Big, meaningful changes for fantasy, and Smitty is covering it like the boss that he is. Great work and analysis, and always the mods, and the community. Thank you, BBQ, for dropping the $20 super chat. You're an absolute monster. BBQ, drop a BBQ emoji in the live chat for a second. At least like 20 straight seconds of BBQ emojis, please. Please, 20 straight seconds of that guy. And, in Raw Navy, if you think about it. And Husseini, you're live on the phone right now. Bruce, just mute yourself real quick. Bruce, I'll be right back for you. Husseini, you're live. What can I do for you? What do you hear? What do you say? Thanks again, BBQ, for the 20 gifted memberships. Thank him if you got one, guys.
So, Smitty, you got me thinking. So you got me thinking with what you said earlier. I know this might be a reach because you said that teams are asking for like a second round pick or whatever for BTJ. Do you think it'd be crazy if the Chiefs offered their 40th overall pick for BTJ and just said, "Here you go, done deal, just give him to me"? And
30.
I agree.
30.
I don't know.
Let me say it this way again. Let me repeat it. 31 teams should give up their second round pick. All 31 teams.
I agree.
That's how undervalued BTJ is, and who cares if it doesn't work out? It's worth the gamble. All 31 teams. I don't care who it is. I don't care if it's the Bengals. I don't care if it's the Eagles. All 31 teams should say, second round pick for BTJ? I don't really care. Yeah, here it is. Take it. It could be the 33rd pick. Doesn't matter. Every single team in the National Football League, you could flip this. You could turn them and flip them in 1 year if you wanted to get more or whatever. I don't know. Maybe it depends how he plays, but it's certainly worth it. I don't understand why the teams that need wide receivers aren't at least acting like this. I don't get it. But KC, they should preemptively be worried about the idea that Rice misses some time or just can't either stay healthy or just can't stay out of trouble. And you gotta almost say, you know what? BTJ, Worthy, Rice, Kenneth Walker, Kelsey, Mahomes, even recovering from an ACL tear. Who's stopping that team? Offensively, who's stopping that team? The answer is no one. Some of the best offensive line play in the game. Walker's going to create so much more space and time for Mahomes, which is why we said this had to happen. New England's not paying attention. At least we don't think they are. Maybe they make the move tonight. But if New England doesn't get BTJ or AJB, New England's not paying attention. Because KC knew what the assignment was. Mahomes is still going to be amazing. He'll probably start week 1. I've said that from the beginning, unless there's a setback. Mahomes is one of the hardest workers in the league. He's all football. The day after he wins the Super Bowl, he's in the lab cooking. And so Mahomes is going to be so good this year, and it might not necessarily equate to top 5 fantasy production. It may. I'm not saying it can't. But it might be something in the 7 to 12 variety for fantasy this year as he's getting his feet back under him because he's not going to need to run. So Mahomes is going to do this whole little dink and dunk because everyone's going to be wide open. Why? Because Walker's going to be ripping off 5 yards a carry. And when they get down to the 10-yard line, it's blue 32, hatchback left, Walker on 3. Walker runs in his 14th touchdown on the year, and Mahomes will have those games where it's like he could have scored 3 or 4 touchdowns, but they ran the ball in. So this is exactly what Mahomes needs. They need to offset Mahomes' recovery. This is the best way to offset it. And if they were smart, they would go out and get BTJ. But it doesn't appear that teams are that smart because he's there for the taking. AJB is going to cost a little more, but New England's not paying attention. Unless they do it tonight, unless they think to themselves and they accurately pull this off, and I'll tell you, okay, good. They were paying attention. My fault. I was judging them a little harshly early, but I'm a little fearful that they're not sitting here going, okay, we're strategically trying to get AJB because we want him more. We were waiting on Alec Pierce, but Alec Pierce is off the table now. So we're a little bit more aggressive on BTJ, AJB, but we don't think 2 teams are going to come in and grab one each. We think that one might go and then we'll react and pull the trigger on the other. But this is the NFL, and there's 30 other teams that will be involved in this potential thought process. I'm not saying every one of them wants a receiver, but the New England's got to worry about if they try and get too cute, they could lose both of them. Or the Patriots, the Eagles say, you know what? Through free agency, or the Jaguars, through free agency, We got what we wanted. We decided to go in a different direction. We're no longer trading him. And that can happen even if they don't, a draft goes by. Like, you got to understand is if BTJ or AJB were, if the teams wanted to trade these guys, they may have had grand plans for Juwan Jennings or maybe Naylor or one of these guys that got scooped up or is about to get scooped up. Maybe Brandon Ayuk. And if you don't make this trade early enough and there's no one left in free agency and the Jaguars and the Eagles say, we don't want any rookie, we wanted one of these guys, but you drug your feet. So now that all the wide receivers are gone, we no longer want to trade AJB or BTJ. And then the New England Patriots are sitting on their hands. That's the problem. I don't know what New England's doing. Who the hell is making this decision? Is it ownership? Is it Vrabel? Like, what is it? Who's making the call here? Who's making the no call here? Is it, if I'm Vrabel, I'm slamming my hand on my desk over and over. I'm picking up the phone and saying, you can fire me, but I'm calling you every 10 minutes and saying, why can't we make this trade? I brought you to a Super Bowl, and maybe Vrabel's the one. I brought you to a Super Bowl. We fell short because we didn't have BTJ or AJ Brown. Let's go get them. All these other teams are loading up. They're loading up. And you know what else is going to be a factor? Is AJB might be available today, but he might not be available tomorrow because teams like the Niners are grabbing Mike Evans. And in the NFC, a team like the Eagles says, you know what? We look pretty foolish right now if we get rid of one of our weapons when San Francisco just signed Mike Evans. We'd be pretty foolish if this happened or this happened. Maybe the Washington Commanders end up getting BTJ. And then the Eagles say, you know what? Screw this. We're not getting rid of AJ Brown anymore. Hang up my phone there. All right, I forget who's even on the phone line. Smitty is loaded up. Look, Theory, I assume you're okay with the vibe you got here, but this is, you start getting used to it. If this makes you uncomfortable and you don't like yelling and screaming, this is my resting face. I'm just letting you know. And I appreciate you if you're here for it. Husseini, final thoughts, my boy.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think it's insane how the way these GMs think, and they're just so arrogant, and even some of the coaches, because of course they make decisions too. I'm with you on that. One last thing is, now I know we don't have any clue, but just your professional opinion, because you know better than me. Who do you think now that the Saints and the Chiefs, who were kind of more so the Saints favorites to like land, mock drafts or whatever, land love. Now that that's out of the way, they both got their running backs. Now we're love will probably go like Commanders or Titans or something like that. But do you think it's out of reach for either the Saints or the Chiefs now to grab Tyson and Tate? Or do you think they'll get gone like before the 8th and 9th?
It depends on Mekhi Lemon, who is not climbing the board. He's probably falling, but bro, there's no guarantee that the two wide receivers will be gone by the Saints pick. There's a chance. There's a great chance one of them is.
Yeah.
My guess is if one of them's gone, it's going to be Jordan Tyson to Tennessee or Carnell Tate to the Giants at 5 if they don't take Jeremiah Love, which is just another head scratching. I just don't understand. But could maybe Jordan Tyson go 4, the Giants take Carnell Tate? It's certainly possible. And then could Mekhi Lemon go 6 or 7 and all 3 are gone? Maybe, but odds are it'll be 2. Mekhi Lemon's fallen a lot because of his interviews. They weren't just bad. He bombed them. He wasn't just bad. He was dreadful. And so a lot of teams have moved him down. Some teams haven't, but it's just hard to say. Is it Washington? Is it New Orleans? But yeah, New Orleans could definitely grab a receiver still. I don't want them to unless it's Mekhi Lemon. I'm fine with that. I don't think Mekhi Lemon's taking anything from Olave. But I do want Jordan Tyson in Washington or Carnell Tate in Washington. I do want Jordan Tyson or Carnell Tate in Tennessee. If I could choose 2 landing spots right now and avoid landmines, Cleveland would be 3rd in this range. KC would be great too if Rice were to miss time. If Rice doesn't miss time, I don't know that I want that either because it's crowded. It's not that it wouldn't be good for football. As a fan of the Chiefs, you would love it, but I don't want that. I want Jordan Tyson as a wide receiver 1 in Tennessee or a wide receiver 1 in Washington. I want Jordan Tyson or Carnell Tate in Tennessee or in Washington. These are the two main spots we want Carnell Tate and Jordan Tyson to land. Washington and Tennessee, those are the absolute best landing spots that a wide receiver could go to in this top 10, and it's not even close. Unless Rice were suspended for his career.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think for the Chiefs, honestly, now that Love is out of the equation, my dream player now to draft at 9 is Kenyon Sadiq. I think that he's right there. Kelsey's coming back, but, I mean, whatever. He's not like he's going to be there for very long. You know, you have one of the best tight ends to mentor him, and, you know, not this upcoming season, but the year after, you know, he'll be assuming he'd be the starter, and I think he'll just blow up, you know. So I think that would be a great option.
Sadiq to Tennessee, to Washington.
No,
I'm
Kansas City.
No, I know what you want.
Oh.
Stop being selfish with your Sadiq to Tennessee, Sadiq to Washington, Sadiq to KC, Sadiq to I would say those are the best spots. I hope it's not like the Jets move down and then take them. Oh God, the Jets and Giants are the ones reportedly going hardcore after BTJ right now.
I really hope that the Jets and the Giants both draft defensive players. Is what I'm really hoping.
Yeah.
Because I don't want them to touch any of these top 10, top 15, top 10 players or whatever. I want them to go to good situations with good quarterbacks, good coaches, good schemes, and just kind of help a team to basically get over the hump. Is basically like what I look at these top players. Yeah, I don't want them to draft.
All right, my boy. All right, call in tonight, bro. Appreciate you later. Smitty's war face. Yeah, kind of like J9, where he becomes 9. I guess in my rant mode, I become like, I don't know what would you call me? Not what number would I be? What letter? What animal do I manifest? All right, Bruce, final thoughts, my boy. I don't know where Travis is.
Oh, was it? I don't know. It was a good show. With this addition of Tua and what he did for HN, now do you think this puts Bijan over Gibbs again or no?
No, I still have Gibbs 1, but Tommy Reese and Tua, I'm going to do a video tonight. It'll be, if we don't have any breaking news, tonight will be the things are all right again in Atlanta video. That's how good. Tua's not winning championships, but Tua's great for fantasy, and that's a good safeguard move. So all is right in Atlanta again will be the live stream tonight if we don't have breaking news. And if we do have breaking news, I'll still try and create that video for the morning at the early morning drop. All right, Bruce. See you at midnight, bro. Later.
Yep.
All right, we got 2 more super chats. I think BBQ dropping this is the old one. Meaningful changes. Yeah, that's the old one. And then this is this one right here. Tried to call in. Big profit. How high? Go ahead and try again. Try calling again, bro. Real quickly. Thank you for the super chat, by the way. Thank you, pal. Appreciate you. Getting some squats in today. Getting some real squats in. All right. Big Profit, you're live. What can I do for you real quick? What did your super chat say? You can ask me in person.
Oh, I was wondering how high. I know you're really good at ranking tight ends. I was wondering how high you are on Likely now. I remember how Harbaugh had Pro Bowl aspirations for him last year, and then he got injured preseason.
Yeah.
I was wondering what you think now.
Well, okay, so a couple concerns here. Number one, Harbaugh might have Pro Bowl aspirations for him, but why did he continue to not use him? You could say he got hurt, but he still didn't use Likely. He continued to not use him. This is the one guy that screwed up Likely's usage. Why are we excited about this, this marriage coming back together? You know what I'm saying? Like when people are like, oh, he's going back to Harbaugh. This is great. Why is it great? He literally didn't use him. You can blame it on injury, but at the end of the day, he did not use him. Number two, and I like Likely. I'm not necessarily saying I'm running away from him. I love him. He has a problem staying healthy. We hope he fends that off and shakes that label free. Harbaugh's got to stick with him. I think he probably will. But Theo Johnson ain't a scrub. This is why I think that Harbaugh is dropping off. He's losing it. The game's passing him by. You have bigger fish to fry than to go get Isaiah Likely on a big contract. You have Theo Johnson, who's pretty damn good. You've got Cam Scatterboot, who's pretty damn good. And now you're interested in going and getting Jeremiah Love reportedly. You're interested in Walker and ETN and Breece Hall. The game seems to be passing Harbaugh by. He doesn't know what he's focusing on. Then I'd also say if Nagy's in charge of anything, is Harbaugh going to say, hey, get Likely, or is this going to be up to Nagy? Because Nagy, he loves committees of all kinds. So I would just say tread lightly on Likely, just because he comes with an injury history. He's changing teams. His coach that has him back on his roster now didn't use him. And Nagy's in charge. There's a lot of red flags. Do I think he's capable? Yes, but there's more red flags there that I'm comfortable, in saying, yeah, let's go all in.
I appreciate it, Smitty. Yeah, I seen that they gave him top 5 tight end contract on the money. I just wanted to hear what you thought about it, man.
Yeah, I like him. I've always liked him. He's been a moon man. He's been a moon man before.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we loved him. He was a moon man. We loved him. He's been a midseason monster. He's been all over the Mars, or the space boards. But we just don't. I'm just telling you, there's a lot of red flags. I like him a lot. I'll be rooting for him for sure.
So you don't think? Okay, for some reason, you're probably going to laugh at this, but I kind of think he shot up to maybe like Harold Fannin value.
I mean, could he? Yeah. I mean, we've loved Likely for some time, bro. But at some point, you got to ask yourself, what evidence do we have when you start talking like that? We have just hopes and dreams, bro. And he could deliver on that. He really could. But you're asking Nagy not to get in the way. You're asking Harbaugh not to get in the way. You're asking injuries not to get in the way. You're asking Theo Johnson not to get in the way. You're also asking Jackson Dart not to get injured. You're also asking, if I didn't already say it, Likely not to get injured. There's a lot of requests there, bro. Those are a lot of checkpoints that he's got to get through and obstacles. I'm not saying it's not possible. I'm just saying don't start going all in. Take him in some drafts and enjoy the ride. But.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man. Yeah, I was getting a little too excited, probably.
Yeah, get excited, but just, pump the brakes a little. All right, later, bro. Appreciate you.
Later.
Guys, I'm out of here. Let me just check Rumble real quick, see if there's any super chats or anything that need to be handled. Appreciate everybody over on the Rumble side. But can you imagine being Harbaugh and being like, okay, let's sit down, and you're like, you're looking at your roster. And you're saying to yourself, like, hole. Okay, that's good. Hole. That's good. Hole. These, the circles are their vacancy or their deficiencies. And let's just say this is like the majority of their skill, their offensive, defensive players. And they're looking at this team. They're like, okay, there's holes everywhere. This is the RB. This is the QB. This is the tight end. This is the wide receiver room. And you're just sitting there going, okay, we got to fill this hole. Let's go ahead and get a running back. Yeah. Let's go get a tight end. And then maybe if we don't get a running back, we'll just draft a wide receiver. Dotted circle around that one. We might take Carnell Tate or we'll take Jeremiah Love, one of the two. And they're just ignoring the glaring problems and holes on this roster when they have the pieces to like. You're also going to disrupt the Jackson Dart Cam Scattaboo triangle thing we got going on here, the headbutting sessions and everything. You want to mess with that? It's going to mess with Dart. What in the hell's wrong with them? I hope it's all just misdirection, smoke and mirrors, but I don't think it is. Where there's smoke, there's fire, and they're certainly contemplating Jeremiah Love. See you all at midnight Eastern. Don't forget to get on over to my thefantasyfootballshow.com. Totally revamped draft simulator. You can enter keepers, run a Superflex, Dynasty, redraft. Doesn't matter. Just run it, and the algorithm that powers it makes it for a different draft every time strategically. It's not just like using a list, and it's like literally using formula and variations and variants. Trade calculator. Forget about it. You haven't seen a trade calculator like this. You run through trades. It gives you not only the result, gives you an auction dollars. It gives you other written advice as well and tells you why I think you should do it. Gives you different insights if it's a top 10 or top 5 player of mine or a top 5 bust of mine. Tells you all of that in the result of the trade calculation. Player pages for every player. Advanced data, the week 1 projections, news, video links to any links that apply from the YouTube channel. You'll see a link. This link will be attached to pretty much every big name we talked about on that show. So you'll be able to find this video through the player's most recent video. Bold predictions, there's only 4 or 5 up. Rankings or redline rankings. You can click them to redline them and draft off them if you wanted to. Articles. Lineup calculator, weekly lineup calculator, but the player pages, the stock market, go check out the stock market. Look who's on the stock market. There's DJ Moore, there's Luther Burden, and of course Walker and ETN just hit the stock board with articles and information as to why they hit the stock board. Harvey was on the decline on this right here. Harvey went on in the green, up 10% on the stock board since the last, J.K. Dobbins situation, which is not, it's great news. So go check out thefantasyfootballshow.com. I'm live Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern. As you can see right here, that's what this show is right here. I'm also live at midnight Eastern almost every single night, so we should be back. I'm sure we'll be back at some point. Crazy day, amazing day. Thank you all for being here. Appreciate every single one of you. Thank you, BBQ, for the Super Chats, you monster, and the gifted memberships. Thank you, Big Profit, for the Super Chat. Thank you, Dan. Thank you, Off the Highway. And thank you, Coach, for the Super Chat. Thank you over on the Rumble side of the fence. We had somebody drop something. It was New Age Outlaw gifted 1 membership. New Age Outlaw. New Age, you still there? New Age Outlaw to the mother freaking moon. Drop the New Age Outlaw emoji in the YouTube chat for New Age, please. Thank you, New Age. See you all at midnight Eastern. Rumble's at almost at 6.1K. Jeez. Deuce.